Rocking with pettyblog.com.
I can't be on the petty blog.
Petty and T. I was so dumb.
So they already know that I'm dropping the T. So let's get right into it. As you all may know by now, there was a 6th officer present in the Tyre Nichols case. As we all know, his arm and hand was in the video, and he has since been identified, and his name is Preston Hemphill. Oh wow. He tased Tyree violently. He also said that he hopes that his fellow corrupt cops beat Tyree's ASS. But for some odd reason, he was not arrested or charged like the other 5 cops were. And we wonder why, but it sounds about right. It sucks that all they did after the pressure of not arresting him was put on them was suspend him. That's it? Oh hell no. We the people are not going for it and are going to see to it that he gets arrested too like the rest of them. You is not special at all. It is so draining that it's always the same story, different person, and we tired of it. Preston, you literally aided and abetted in the killing of Tyree, and you need to pay the consequences that are about to come with it, okay, Peter Griffin?
Do you have any idea how fast you were going?
It's crazy though that they really tried to protect him just because, so we're going to expose him just because too. And just so y'all know, he did admit to tasering Tyre Nichols as if we didn't see it on camera. Like, what are you tasing a man who is of no threat for? What I don't get is when they say, give me your hands, while someone is literally being pushed and shoved on the floor and literally is not in a position to easily bend their elbows to give their hands in the milliseconds that they expect them to do so. How do these geniuses figure that that's supposed to happen? Like, it's literally humanly impossible, not to mention the fight or flight mode that humans are in when they get pulled over for no damn reason. And got a bunch of thug cops acting crazy, yelling at them, beating on and tasering them. Like, huh? Who trains these idiots? Is that how they were trained? Matter of fact, they gave him 71 commands in a span of 13 minutes. How in the was he supposed to do them? Make it make sense. And now verbatim. This says police officers unleashed a barrage of commands that were confusing, conflicting, and sometimes even impossible to obey, a New York Times analyst of footage from Tyre Nichols' fatal traffic stop found. When Nichols could not comply, and even when he managed to, the officers responded with escalating force. The review of the available footage found that officers shouted at least 71 commands during the approximately 13-minute period before they reported over the radio that Nichols was officially in custody. The orders were issued at 2 locations, one near Nichols' vehicle and another in the area he had fled to and where he would be severely beaten. The orders were often simultaneous and contradictory. Officers commanded Nichols to show his hands even as they were holding his hands. They told him to get on the ground even when he was on the ground. Wow, idiots. And they ordered him to reposition himself even when they had control of his body. That is absurd. Shaking my head. But let's continue. Experts say the actions of the Memphis police officers were an egregious example of a long-standing problem in policing in which officers physically punish civilians for perceived disrespect or disobedience, sometimes called contempt of cop. The practice was notoriously prevalent decades ago. It was far more rampant in the 80s when I started doing police work than it was in the 90s or 2000s, said Jeffrey Alpert. Even before body cams, cops were getting more professional and wouldn't make it personal like it seemed to be in this case. This is so far out of the norm. I mean, how is that unnormal? We see it all the time that cops always beating people for no damn reason. Every day be. But yeah, to mitigate the potential for escalation and confusion during police encounters, today's police training typically calls for a single officer at the scene to issue clear and specific commands. It also requires police officers to respond professionally and proportionately to any perceived act of defiance. Right. But the Times review shows that the officers did the exact opposite over and over. The available footage does not show any sign that the officers present intervened to stop the aggressive use of force. If anything, shows the contrary. At one point, footage captured an officer saying, "I hope they stomp his ass." Exactly, and that was Preston Hemphill who said it.
I hope they stomp his ass. I hope they stomp his ass.
So arrest him now. And we hope that they beat yours in prison, Nate. He's part of the problem, part of the attack, all that. So lock him up, period. It should be 6 mugshots floating around, not just 5. No excuses. Not only did y'all senselessly rip a man away from this world, a son away from his parents.
There was a white officer that was tasing my son.
Not only did y'all senselessly rip a son away from his parents, etc., but y'all ripped a man away from his little boy, who now has to live with the trauma of not having a dad and of how his dad was taken out for the rest of his life. So arrest Preston Hemphill, case closed. But what are y'all thinking? We really want to know, so leave your thoughts below. Like this video, share this video. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel and be sure to hit that bell to join the notification gang. PettyBlog.com signing out.